Recently, the Journal of the Swedish Medical Association posted a case report, summary in English, of a woman who, 6 weeks after giving beginning, needed to be hospitalized for extreme ketoacidosis. Luckily, she recovered quickly and her numbers have been returned to ordinary the following day. Ketoacidosis is a dangerous condition, most usually visible in kind 1 diabetics with acute insulin deficiency. In uncommon instances, ketoacidosis may arise in non-diabetics after prolonged periods of hunger or insufficient meals intake, wherein case it typically occurs in combination with stress or different scientific situations. The girl in this example was consuming low-carb, excessive fats for a long term earlier than the incident. After giving delivery, however, she had suffered flu-like symptoms of fever, nausea and a complete lack of appetite. Despite this, she became nonetheless capable of breastfeed her toddler, which of direction ramped up her dietary requirements. The case study file brings up the girl's low-carbohydrate food regimen as one viable contributing issue to the situation. However, as quickly because the media found out, they at once exaggerated this feasible contributing element to the assured sole motive of the condition. In the lady's own words, the girl defined inside the case file in the journal contacted me of her very own accord through common associates. She tells a distinct tale from the one perpetuated via the media. What isn't made clear is that I, the breastfeeding lady, had been consuming LCHF for approximately 6 years earlier than this incident. However, due to stress at some stage in my second pregnancy and after childbirth, I suffered lack of appetite. This led to greater pressure as I wanted to devour, but my frame stated no. I ate something I ought to keep down: crackers, yogurt, fruit. The problem became that I barely fed on any meals at all, and didn't get sufficient strength from fats or carbohydrates. I got here down with a fever that lasted an entire week. This was weeks before I was admitted to Mora hospital, and at some stage in that week I ate almost nothing. I broadly speaking drank water. And at the same time as I wasn't consuming, my daughter became, which clearly depleted me of nutrients. To say that I ate a low-carb diet and got unwell is simply incorrect. I unluckily ate not anything, and whatever I ate was genuinely carbs. I nevertheless do low carb, but the difference among now and after I were given unwell is that now I surely devour. I'm wholesome and haven't had any troubles for a year now. I absolutely breastfed my daughter for any other 10 months and didn't feel horrific at all. Comment after analyzing the woman's own story, this appears to fall below the class of ketoacidosis triggered by using starvation and sickness. It's well known that hunger can, under severe circumstances, result in ketoacidosis, and this can be just what the call for a breastfeeding contributed to. Whether the low-carb eating regimen contributed to the direction of activities or no longer is unclear, but it's far feasible that it is able to have been a part of the mixture of things behind the development of ketoacidosis, despite the fact that the girl in query hadn't been doing low-carb the final weeks previous to being hospitalized. Many girls and moms have shared their tales of consuming a low-carb diet with fantastic fulfillment, and with none problems in any respect for breastfeeding. Theoretically, however, it's feasible that a strict low-carb weight loss program in uncommon cases is simply too worrying throughout lactation. If you're adhering to a strict low-carb weight reduction plan without carbohydrate, it may your frame ought to produce extra carbohydrate than individuals who don't have infants to feed. Especially in aggregate with a flu or starvation, this could in intense instances be an excessive amount for the frame to deal with. My recommendation, although those cases seem extremely uncommon, a handful of published ones in modern records, of which all seem to have ended well, with the woman convalescing rapidly, they're worth taking critically. In my opinion, it's a good concept to be watchful if you pick to breastfeed on a low-carbohydrate weight loss program. Perhaps the first-class alternative is to head for a barely more liberal low-carb programmer. Bearing in thoughts that breastfeeding consumes carbohydrates, it is able to be useless to goal for less than 50 grams carbohydrate an afternoon. This might, in principle, correspond to a strict LCHF diet for non-breastfeeding human beings. Although the chance of bad consequences of a very strict LCHF food regimen while breastfeeding is probably minimal, it's an pointless chance to take. So how do you understand early signs of ketoacidosis while breastfeeding on low carb, in the rather not going event that it should occur? You'll get abnormally thirsty, headache and nausea, and typically experience susceptible and ill. In that case, you ought to appreciably growth the amount of carbs and fluid you ingest, and are seeking for scientific interest right away in case you should maintain feeling worse rather than better. The maximum essential issue is, regardless, to get enough food and nutrients usual while breastfeeding. If you're locating it hard to keep down something of dietary cost, as an instance, due to a few infection, you need to contact medical experts for recommendation. www.myhealthhint.com. Thank you for watching this video.